So now it's becoming the Fast and Furious of the horror genre.
Oh,
Because
no.
it's making money, they're going to keep making them. And how many times can Sidney Prescott face a new killer and still go on with her life? They brought her daughter into this one now. Joel McHale plays her husband. He's pretty good. But overall, and it's always cool seeing Courtney Cox. Like she has a different face every time they make a new movie, and I just love seeing her. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Nerdy and Nice. It's time to have some fun talking about things beyond a galaxy far, far away in the world of TV, movie, and pop culture. Lacey and I just like having a good time. We're not here to break news. If you are listening to this podcast to learn about news and
You might learn a little
news on
bit.
stuff, you might a little bit, but that's not why we have this podcast. This podcast is to talk about the things that we like talking about. Sometimes there's going to be things we like talking about in a critical way. Sometimes there's things we like talking about because we absolutely love it and we nerd about it. And that's why we say it's nerdy and nice, but there's always some spice. Lacey, we are also not the biggest award show fans, but the Oscars have come and gone once again. The first thing I wanted to bring up to you is I saw some girl go viral because she went dumpster diving and took a piece of the red carpet home.
Yes.
We've been to premieres, both of us, in Hollywood, same exact spot. I even think the same theater, the Dolby Theater. I think maybe we saw episode 9 there if it wasn't the El Capitan, but I've been to a premiere at the Dolby, and it is weird on Hollywood Boulevard how they set these things up and everything else is still happening around it. You still see all the crazy characters on the streets and everything, and then as soon as that event ends, they tear everything down and they throw everything out. So this girl went dumpster diving and got a big chunk of the red carpet and put it in her apartment. So I thought that was kind of funny.
That is funny. I could see that being like a very cool thing for someone that's really into movies and especially any of the films this year. So the funny thing is I love movies. I love television. I love media, but like I fell in love with movies. That's why I went into, media, film, video production in college, etc. But I don't think I'm that big of a fan that I would go dumpster diving for carpet. So good on her. That's pretty awesome. As for the Oscars, I have to admit these ones were kind of boring. I don't like how they kept cutting people off as they were giving their thank yous. Like you can't have the year prior Adrian Brody give a 5-minute and 40-second speech and nobody says anything. But then, K-pop Demon Hunters wins, which, woo, they won. And the guy gets up there with a little note card to say thank you to a couple people and they immediately cut him off and turn the lights off. Like, it's just rude.
Yeah.
I feel like they should cut down the bits of Conan O'Brien or whoever's hosting. Like none of those things that he did went viral or anybody cared about. So it just, the things that people kept talking about days after were that they cut people off or that Michael B. Jordan won and Timothée Chalamet did, because man, did that guy take a turn from the ballet opera comment, because it was like nonstop hits on him. Like his private chef came out and was like, dude makes me make 4 meals and he only eats 1 and I throw 3 out. Like just random stuff was coming out about him that I was like, this guy's never going to win.
Yeah, it does seem like he has rubbed people the wrong way, and people have you don't want to judge somebody because we don't know who this guy really is. We only go by what the media covers him. But he goes from this up and coming actor and there's a humbleness to him, but a hunger to him, and now he's dating a Kardashian and he's changed his entire look and he seems to have this bravado to him, and maybe the ego of Hollywood has gotten into him a little bit and maybe he needs to be humbled, and maybe this is that moment where sometimes it happens later in life for an actor like Robert Downey Jr., who doesn't get his second shot until he's in his 40s. Now he obviously got into drugs and Chalamet didn't get arrested or anything like that, and hopefully it doesn't go that way for him, but it was interesting to see that happen. I thought Conan was great. I love Conan. I'll always find him funny. So he's sort of like a home base for me. I grew up watching Late Night with Conan O'Brien. So if he continues to host, that's cool. If they find someone else, that's
I
cool.
mean, the ratings are
I
in, and it's been the lowest rated Oscars like
Yeah,
in a long time.
that's just gonna happen. I think the ratings are gonna go down because people are watching it online, people are watching it on Hulu, people are watching it on TV, and the interest of watching a live broadcast isn't the way it used to be, and that's across all things, sports, a lot of things.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is, whoever was in charge of putting the lav mics on people, especially the people who were presenters that had to do sticky bits and stuff, there was a lot of
And a lot of hitting.
like, yeah, the way they positioned those, it was a lot of muffling and it made things even more awkward. So the sound work wasn't great either. But I thought, it was a typical Oscar show. I guess it's not usually my thing. You and I obviously loved seeing Grogu and Star Wars getting some marketing push there as we had expected. No tuxedo, but we did get
what
Grogu,
a missed
and that was
opportunity
very cool.
without the tuxedo. Like,
Yeah.
how much would it have been to put just a little tuxedo on him?
Maybe he's saving it for the premiere of Mandalorian and Grogu.
Maybe they are. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I don't have many other takeaways. Definitely happy for Michael B. Jordan,
Yes.
Ryan Coogler, the screenwriter who I think broke new ground with her victory. I don't know if was it the first time a female had won or something like that.
She won for cinematographer.
Cinematography. Yeah.
And then Paul Thomas Anderson won.
Paul Thomas Anderson finally won. Yep. And it seems like Leo doesn't win a lot. He's only won once. But if you are a director and you want to win, put Leo in your cast. Yeah. So I still haven't seen that movie either. And Sean Penn won. He doesn't go to the Oscars. And I know a lot of people don't like Sean Penn, but you know what? The guy puts his money where his mouth is, because apparently he was in Ukraine or something meeting with Zelensky while the Oscars were happening. So I will tip my hat to that man. A lot of people will get on those stages at the Oscars and make their speeches about the politics and then go live their lavish life and not do a thing. Sean Penn's like, no, I'm not attending this because I don't feel it's right. He still wins the award, even though he speaks out against it in that way, while he's doing things that he think are for the betterment of humanity. So I know Sean Penn's had a checkered past, but I have to tip my hat. He's actually looks like he's at least trying to, put his money where his mouth is, where a lot of actors say things to save face, but don't actually do anything. And that's all.
I would have preferred Stellan Skarsgård to win. So I'm kind of
I love that guy. Yeah.
that he didn't win. That Sean Penn won over Stellan Skarsgård.
The other thing at the top before we get into our trailers is Stranger Things. The complete series is coming to physical media, as many had anticipated, and it's very interesting. First of all, no VHS sets. I thought that would be a cool thing, and that would probably it wouldn't shock me if that was the most expensive item and people bought it because it's 1980s and VHS and all that. But no, it's Blu-ray all the way up to 4K, ranging from $180 to $230. Lacey, I can see collectors wanting to buy this, but if this show's on Netflix, I'm not spending $180 to $230 for the physical media of Stranger Things. I assume you even less so, because you absolutely hated season 5.
I will not be buying this because I don't see there being an issue where they're going to remove it from Netflix. I think they've invested enough money. It's one of their flagship franchises. I don't see this leaving Netflix at all. Whereas my mentality, especially about physical media, is buying up stuff that I think that will either be changed or won't be put up on streaming, because that happens too. I mean, I go back to the Willow series. I would love to rewatch that. I want to rewatch it all the time, and I'm unable to because Disney got rid of it. So that's an example. Like, if that came out on physical media, I would buy it because I want to watch it again. I buy movies that don't, come out in movie theaters or come out on streaming anymore. Those are the things I hold on to, especially now. You hear time and time again that they're changing movies and changing things and removing stuff. But I wouldn't put past Netflix to change things either, because they have been known to change things in their own shows they did change in season 1 of 13 Reasons Why, kind of the big climactic scene of the main character, her death scene, they completely removed it from the series.
They
It was
did?
like,
Oh, wow.
yes, it was the big, emotional, very raw moment of this character
Yeah, I remember that.
dying, and they just straight up removed it. They were like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna take it away." And that, like, it felt like it was the whole point of the series. So that's the kind of
Yeah.
stuff that I'm like, ugh, like, how many corporations are gonna cave to complaints and other things that then affect the art that we're getting? But
Yeah.
yeah, no, Stranger Things does not fall into that category, so I'm not worried about it, and I will not be buying this.
Yeah, that's a pretty price point, but I know it's a lot of hours and footage and stuff like that. And if you break it down per season, it's, you know,
Sure.
$30 or whatever per season. But yeah, that's expensive. So they are clearly making it for the people they think will be buying it, and you know, good for you if you're down with that. That's cool. I support physical media, but like I agree with what Lacey said. All right, it is time to get into trailers. We have a clip from an upcoming very popular franchise and a trailer that is just breaking records. Here we go.
Oh God, I love that movie.
All right, let's start with this clip, this 1-minute clip from the movie Toy Story 5 coming out this summer. It's a 1-minute clip of Jessie leading the way, encountering the movie's seemingly villain, the lily pad, which is, as we've talked about, a very clever way to keep Toy Story fresh and relevant to today's world, where a lot of kids are seemingly replacing their toys with handheld iPad devices and things like that. So, Lacey, what did you make of this 1-minute clip from Toy Story 5? Did it capture... I know you haven't watched all of them, but did it capture any of the Toy Story vibe for you? What did you think of this little slice of Toy Story 5 that we were privy to?
It's very funny just because it's relevant to what we're dealing with as parents nowadays. And it also kind of makes a little bit of a nod to us as adults, because you have Jessie approaching Lilypad and she's like, "Look, we have a problem here." And Lilypad's scrolling and she goes, "Yeah, yeah." And she goes, "You're not listening." And then she repeats back what she said, and then in Spanish. And then it was very funny. And she also had different like noises that she boots up and makes noises. Oh yeah, it's just so funny. She comes across very much as that corporate character that's like, yeah, scrolling, not listening to you, like corporate Ryan in The Office.
Right.
Yeah, it's cute. It does a good job. It still has the same kind of comical vibe, playful to kids, but also to adults, like the Disney style of like, hey, we know you're stuck watching this, so we're not going to make it only a kids movie to you, which, by the way, is a problem nowadays, that you watch a lot of films and you're like, oh my God, like no adult jokes anymore. Like we don't do that. Whereas Toy Story knows that adults are going to the movie with their kids. So it's nice to see. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It looks great. Again, you know, Pixar's evolution, like I still think the original Toy Story is the standard because it's the original. It's the one that kicked it all off. But you can tell the quality difference between 1 now to 5. It keeps getting better, of course. So it looks fantastic. I love this cast. I love that they're able to continue on some of these characters, even though they're having passings, like Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head. Obviously, Jim Varney passed away as Slinky Dog years ago, and he was replaced by the guy who is always popping up in those Adam Sandler movies. But yeah, it was a good clip. And I also do find it interesting, to your point about that, how kids who watch the original Toy Story are now having kids like us. And, you know, we grew up loving toys and Toy Story made sense to us. So now it feels like as I'm watching this clip, I am like defending the toys. And I'm like, I'm also against this pad. But then you add to the fact that I'm a dad too. And like my kids both use those. And it is interesting because sometimes I'll be like, hey, Johnny, let's play with the Star Wars figures, or let's, you know, and my kids aren't beholden to their iPads at all. They love going outside and we make sure they are doing normal kid stuff, but those exist and that's the world we live in today. So it is, they made a smart choice and I'm sure they'll execute it well. Toy Story's 4 for 4 so far. I know a lot of people wish they ended with 3. I understand that, but until they prove us wrong, you got to expect they're going to come through with quality. So good
Yeah.
clip. And they, were able to give us a good clip without giving us Tom Hanks. The next one, Spider-Man Brand New Day, July 31st. So before we even talk about the trailer, it's already become the biggest movie trailer launch in history with 718 million views in 24 hours. It broke the previous record held by another Marvel piece, Deadpool and Wolverine, which had 365 million. So it doubled that, and it's still going. So
I was gonna say, I wonder what it is now.
Spider-Man is the say what you want about Marvel, and this movie didn't perform well. Captain America, Brave New World didn't do well. Spider-Man is their safety net. Spider-Man will always, or safety web, if you want to be topical.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man will always make bank. This movie will make $1 billion. This kid is great as Spider-Man, and the fact that he's into his 4th movie already, he's now becoming the biggest cinematic figure of Spider-Man now, because Tobey Maguire did 3 standalone movies. He's now in his 4th standalone movie, in addition to all the Avengers stuff he's done. But Lacey, here we go. We got Brand New Day. We have a new director now. John Watts has moved on. What did you make of the trailer, which is taking the world quite literally by storm?
Yeah. So here's another one that I'm not caught up on, is Spider-Man. I haven't seen the last one with all the different Spider-Mans, but I know at the end he decides he's got to like erase everybody's memory to do with the betterment of the world or whatever, to save the world. He's got to make everybody forget who he is, which is an interesting take. And I've seen that actually done in like several movies and anime and stuff, that like, oh, you have to give up all your memories to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So the first thing that really bothered me, I'm not gonna lie, is the opening scene where he's sitting upside down. Like, to me, makes no sense. And then the mask looks so fake when he puts it on. Like, that really bothers me. Like, they couldn't get a real mask. They put like the CG-ish mask. Other than that, it looks really nice. It's shot very well. I think the trailer is good. It's entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Darth Maul Shadow Lord trailer, the Maul Shadow Lord trailer, was better than this trailer. And I'm only saying that because we just spoke about it. But it's interesting. We also see Ezra Bridger himself is the love interest of MJ in this one, so it's nice to see him expanding into other big franchises. I love that for him. I'm sure part of the reason people are chiming in here is because there is a very, very big following and fandom around Tom Holland and Zendaya. And they just supposedly got married. Nobody knows. Some people said they have. Some people said they haven't. Some people said it's a secret. Some people say it's not. So I think people kind of, anytime the two of them are together in a project or anywhere, there's a lot of kind of craziness involved. So seeing that they fell in love in this film, and then now they're carrying this love interest, will they, won't they, dynamic, I think people are kind of engaged. Especially, we've talked about this with Star Wars, but I think in general, love and romance seem to be making a big kind of comeback in movies. We're seeing a lot more romantic comedies. We're seeing a lot more pushes for romance. So I think that's going to be obviously a big angle with this Spider-Man, is will he be with MJ or will he not? Will he tell her? Yeah, it looks good. It looks interesting. I'd probably watch it. I don't know if I'll go to the movie for it, but I'll watch it on streaming.
Yeah, I think it's a good trailer too. It has a lot of great action. And yeah, that's going to be the big story point, is MJ going to end up remembering him anyway because of sort of like that fateful power of love, not to make a reference to Huey Lewis. But yeah, I think it's a good trailer. Obviously, I'm more interested in seeing this one because of the Punisher. You got John Bernthal in this one.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Yes, he's in it. We didn't see Sadie Sink in it, though. They're kind of keeping her on the DL.
They said there's one shot of her from behind, and that she's playing Jean Grey, I think.
That's what people are saying.
So are the X-Men going to be introduced in this before Doomsday, or is it just going to be the one character and then they springboard that into Doomsday, which is going to be crazy?
Well, this
I don't know
has
how
to
they're gonna
lead into
fit all those.
Doomsday, right? Because
Yeah,
Doomsday's in November.
but I'm saying for the X-Men, are
Yeah.
more of them going to show up in this, or is it just going to
Yeah.
be her who then springboards them into Doomsday? But yeah, it looks really good. The Punisher stuff, I enjoy the dynamic that they have going on. I love that he had to censor him as he was about to curse by throwing a web over his mouth. I'm curious to see how much the Punisher plays a role, because I really do like John Bernthal's Punisher. So I'm so happy that they're bringing him from the TV series up to this level. And because
screen, yeah.
Punisher has never worked theatrically from a financial success standpoint. They've tried multiple times. There's been 3 different canonical iterations. Ray Stevenson did one which was over the top that I loved with 2008's Punisher Warzone. Obviously, you have the Thomas Jane one from 2004 with John Travolta, and then the one in the 80s with I don't remember who played the Punisher in the 80s. It was like Dolph Lundgren or something like that. 80s movie. I gotta look it up now because I'm a psycho.
I'm not sure.
It was.
I'm interested to see what other characters besides Punisher shows up, because obviously Daredevil just had Punisher in it. The most recent iteration of Daredevil, Born Again, had Punisher in it. So it's like, okay, well, clearly Daredevil is having Jessica Jones show up again. He had Daredevil show up again. So you're like, okay, where's the crossover? Because all these characters are also in New York with Peter Parker.
True. Yeah. And maybe they're finding Punisher works best as a supporting character for these big things, and that's certainly possible. But I think John Bernthal is great. He loves playing it. He has his own Punisher series that is coming out soon again. So this one definitely interests me. I'm curious to see what they do with it. Nice. I think I'm more excited for this than Doomsday, but I could be proven wrong.
I can agree with that. I'd give it a little push more into interest than Doomsday. I don't know. Doomsday has not gotten me hyped yet. It seems like it's coming across very much, and I've said this before, like a cash grab. Like, it's like, oh, we're bringing everybody back. We're doing all these things. And I've seen a couple, like, quote unquote, leaks come out of what Doomsday is about. And I'm telling you, if they're true, this movie's not going to do well. So I'm hoping,
it'll do well.
I'm hoping it's not. I meant like fan reaction won't do well. I'm not saying monetarily.
It's gonna make money. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. All
right, cool. So that's it for trailer time today. So now let's get into some of the news stories.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Enough, I get the point.
We've got stories from kind of all over the place this week. Kicking it off, we got a casting announcement that went pretty bananas online, which is the cast has been announced for the new Scooby-Doo live-action Netflix series. And they had announced that McKenna Grace is playing Daphne Blake, who is collecting franchises like Thanos. Like, this girl, everything. But they've announced the 4 other people that's going to join her crew, if you will. So they have Shaggy is being played by
Tanner
Hagen. And then the Velma character, they had like all their credits into the description, and I'm like having to like dig for their names. Abby Ryder Fortson, who's from Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And then they have Maxwell Jenkins, who's from Lost in Space and Sense8, is playing Fred Jones, and he's donning the iconic orange neckerchief, which we'll see if they actually do that. But the thing I found interesting is they did include the synopsis for the series, which is, quote, during the final summer at camp, old friends Shaggy and Daphne get embroiled in a haunting mystery surrounding a lonely, lost Great Dane puppy that may be a witness to a supernatural murder. Together with the pragmatic and scientific townie Velma and the strange but ever so handsome new kid, Freddy, they set out to solve the case that is pulling each of them into a creepy nightmare that threatens to expose all their secrets. I love how they're like, the handsome new kid. They had to throw that in there.
Are they just sort of coming out and saying that there's going to be like a YA approach to this?
So that's basically what it is. It's a coming of age story, which
Yeah.
later in the article, which is this one I'm reading from, is from Empire. They go on to say, hey, Stranger Things has ended. Wednesday's, coming to an end as well. Buffy the Vampire Slayer got canceled, which we'll get into in a second. So there seems to be this hole in coming of age supernatural thriller series. So this could fill that hole on Netflix. So John, are you going to watch this? Are you a Scooby-Doo fan? Have you had enough of this? Is McKenna Grace going to be in everything? What are your thoughts?
I'm still and you're right. Like, she first on the scene with the Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then she was in Scream 7, and now Scooby-Doo.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yeah, crazy. So, and it's also crazy. I feel like Ghostbusters Afterlife like just came out, and she's like a little kid, and now she's like scantily clad in a Scream movie. It's like, where did the time go?
Oh, is she in lingerie?
Like, she's in no, she's not in lingerie, but she's in a very clueless type of outfit.
Sure.
She's wearing a short sweater that shows her belly. She's in a short plaid skirt. Yeah, all that stuff. And I'm like, what? She was just a kid. What is going on?
She did the song for that movie. Like they made like a music video and stuff with her singing.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, but as far as Scooby-Doo goes, I remember watching the cartoon as a kid. I wasn't like the hugest fan, but I remember enjoying it and liking it. And I'm a huge Matthew Lillard fan, though I was too old by the time that live action one came around with Freddie Prinze and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Linda Cardinelli.
Which is where they fell in love.
Yeah. Though I do think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Linda Cardinelli being Velma is the first time people looked at Velma in a sexual way or like a hot way. And then that's taken off since. There's been cosplays as Hot Velma. So she was like, I think the first to do that. But I'm not I can't say I'm the biggest Scooby-Doo fan because like it came out before I was born, I think, or like around the time I was born, maybe 70s. I forget when Scooby-Doo came out.
I think it was 60s or 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it was like rerun time when I was a kid. So it was like,
wasn't it Hanna-Barbera, or am I making that up?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then by the time early 2000s came around, I'm already like late teens, 20. I missed it there. So it just, Scooby-Doo sort of missed me when it was at its highest, highs. But, this is interesting. Maybe my kids get into it, but if it's YA, maybe they have to wait. I'm interested to see how they approach it. I hope it's not too much like Riverdale, where it's like they take something that was comic-y and campy and fun for kids and turn it into a teen drama. But it sounds like they might, but we'll see.
So nuts. Riverdale.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So crazy.
Yeah. So, but I'm, we'll see what happens. But yeah, McKenna Grace is certainly carving out quite the niche for herself. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was never into Scooby-Doo. I did babysit a kid in high school that was in love with the movies. So like every time I babysat him, I'd have to put the movies on. Like the one where they go to the like creepy island or whatever. But I loved it because Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, who's Buffy, which again, we're going to get into in a second.
And Matthew Lillard's a great Shaggy. He still does the voice, I think.
He is. But I just like her because I always like Buffy. But I think this could be a cool way to get kids into Scooby-Doo again, because if you don't, if you didn't grow up when we grew up, you probably don't know what it is at this point. You know it a little bit from the movies, but not much. Like it wasn't like such a big franchise when it came out. And I think this is a new way to use the property that invigorates it with a younger audience to then get some attention.
It also depends on how they animate Scooby-Doo.
Yes, how are they going to do it? Are they doing puppet, CGI? What are they doing?
Yeah, because the one in the live action movie was like very cartoony to look like he looks in the cartoon.
It's very CG.
So I don't know if they're gonna go with like it's a real Great Dane and it still talks. That'll be interesting to see how they end up with that, because they haven't shown that yet, right? They haven't revealed what Scooby-Doo is gonna look like.
No, they just made this announcement of who the
I think
cast is.
I think that's a big deal. So we'll see.
I would say it's a bigger deal than who's playing these characters, to be honest.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And Netflix, you know, I don't think they spare budgets very often, so they'll probably, you know, go big with whatever animation or graphics they have to do for the dog. But I'm curious to see what they end up landing with Scooby-Doo himself. Yeah.
Before we get into the Buffy stuff, which I got a lot to say about that,
Okay.
I'm going to get into the other story that came out that's got people very split, which is understandable. Which Variety has posted that Val Kilmer is resurrected by AI to star in As Deep as the Grave movie. And they posted a first look at his character, which is completely AI. So 5 years prior to his death in 2025, Val Kilmer was cast as a character in As Deep as the Grave. He was battling throat cancer and was too sick to ever make it to set, but really wanted to play this role, really wanted to give his image to the role. So when he passed away, his daughter went ahead and said, it's okay. Similar to, as I would imagine, how the Carrie Fisher estate handled Carrie Fisher when she passed away, of, hey, yes, you can use her likeness. We'll help you do it. We give our approval. This is okay. This is what she would have wanted type thing, which is what his daughter is saying is like, yes, this is what he wanted. He was deeply spiritual. It meant a lot to him. He wanted to do this thing. So we're making it happen. People are split on it because they're saying, first of all, trigger word, AI. People are going, okay, well, what's the line? Is the line, if they say it's okay, it's okay? Is the line that it's never okay? Is the line, you know, once you say okay to this, does it mean that you can then use people whenever, even if they don't sign off? Like, what is happening with contracts and agreements and likeness? Because there's already been, you know, conversations around AI likeness when extras come on set. They've been scanned by a machine that then gives their likeness to a movie studio to use, you know, as long as they want to. So, John, I know you're a big Val Kilmer fan.
Yeah.
Will you see this movie with an AI version, knowing that he's given his okay and his family's given his okay? And then second part of that, how do you feel about actors being resurrected, which is, by the way, the word that they're using, resurrected by AI in future films when they are no longer with us? There's a lot to unpack there, by the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance to this because I'm typically on the side of being anti-AI.
Mm-hmm.
But in this instance, I'm cool with this because Val Kilmer was actually a proponent of AI. And while he was alive, he used AI to create a version of his voice for his documentary and for other things.
Top Gun Maverick, yeah.
Top Gun Maverick, they used some technologies there too. He had worked with AI companies. So this isn't one of those things where it is a child of an actor speaking on their behalf without any historical precedence. It's there. He did support this stuff, which I was surprised about. Because when I first saw the story, I was like, my initial reaction was, like, not anger, but just like, no, I don't like that. Because I always saw Val Kilmer as this artist first, craftsman. From, you know, I would watch interviews with him talking about how he became Jim Morrison and how he became Doc Holliday and why he made certain artistic choices. He loved the art of acting, and he rubbed people the wrong way early in his career, and then he came around and became beloved on sets, and he loved collaborating with people. His one-man Mark Twain show that a lot of people aren't too familiar with, he would get in the crowd, he would improv as Mark Twain. So he was a very like you would think anti-AI in terms of how he was as a performer, but there's history showing that he worked with AI companies, he believed in technology, and if he was the one and the only one that they wanted for this, I don't see this as they're taking the role from someone else. It was supposed to be him. So in this instance, that's why I'm saying there's nuance to it. I am okay with this because of all the reasons I just laid out. He was all about it. His kids are given the okay, and he was supposed to be the one to do this. So where, I'm not going to give a yes in a situation where an actor showed no signs of interest in AI and they still did it anyway.
Right.
Or a situation where, hey, we're just not going to cast someone. We're going to use a CG version of Jack Nicholson. And like, no. But in this instance, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm one of the big people too that's like, oh, AI is like such a word when I see it, you know? Oh no,
Yeah.
what are they doing here?
Yeah.
I do think that there are ways that AI can be used as a tool to help people. I just feel like as of late, the push for AI has been to eliminate humans and to eliminate creative ventures of what makes us human, which is movies, writing, creating art, etc. So when I see this, I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. But in the sense of what you're saying, which is in the article as well, is how he used AI towards the end of his life to keep doing what he loved when he couldn't. And that's when AI falls into the bucket of like, oh, it's letting someone live the life they want to live, even when they can't do it themselves. And the fact that, like you said, he was behind this, he wanted to do it. To me, I have to support his wishes of like, that's what he wanted. That was his dying wish to do this film. So
Yeah.
how can you look at that and say, oh, this is so wrong? They never should have done this. It's what he wanted. And if the director's
Like,
saying,
who am
look,
I
I
to
would,
say, yeah.
right. I can't tell someone what to do with their life, but I do worry at the bigger picture of AI of what this means for future projects for people that either aren't dead or people that might pass away too soon or pass away for years ago and they want to bring them back. Like, oh, let's make a new rom-com with Clark Gable with AI. Like that to me seems inappropriate.
Yeah.
So I am interested to see where this goes, but
Yeah. And
we won't know until it happens, I guess.
Yeah, and if I do see this movie, which I guess is about a female archaeologist, and it has like a fantasy element to it, so I don't know if that's like, Indiana Jones-ish, but like, if I watch this movie and I see Val Kilmer come on screen and I see this performance and I forget or whatever, and it feels seamless and it feels good, I just want to remember that Val Kilmer would have given a different performance. Like, just because we're seeing an AI version of Val Kilmer, that's not necessarily how he would have done these scenes or read those lines. They're just using the archival history of Val Kilmer that this program is going through and saying, this is what we think he would do, but impossible to predict, because that's what the beauty of being a human being is the uniqueness of you in the moment. And so as long as I can separate that, knowing that's not Val Kilmer and he would have done something different, but this is a sort of a tribute to him to complete this story, maybe I can come to terms with that in this instance.
Yeah. What I've been having a hard time coming to terms with, so to speak, is that they canceled Buffy.
Yeah, but boy, like what they were doing with it sounds terrible. So I don't know.
It is a messy situation, if you will. So guys, I saved this to last because there's a lot of moving pieces with this that we would have to break down and then discuss. For those of you that don't know, I've said it before, but I am a huge Buffy fan. I grew up on Buffy. I dressed up as Buffy for Halloween in 5th grade. I love Buffy, all about it. Love Sarah Michelle Gellar. I've seen some comments online that she's a terrible actress. I disagree. And I don't think that has anything to do with this. That being said, over the weekend, while Sarah Michelle Gellar was doing press for Ready or Not 2, Ready Not, Here I Come, or whatever it is called, she decided to put out a social video that's basically saying, hey guys, sorry you have to hear this from me. I wanted it to come from me, but the series is no longer moving forward at Hulu. They've decided to not go through with it. And naturally, people like myself are shocked, because if you're a huge Buffy fan, for Sarah Michelle Gellar to even get into, the high-heeled Buffy boots and pick up a steak again, it's a big deal. So for her to them to shoot down a revival series with her, it either is, production issues, budget issues, messiness, not written well, et cetera, et cetera. And there's just so many kind of, I guess, finger pointing is what I would call it. So Sarah Michelle Gellar then came out later, a couple days later, saying that basically Hulu's top executive, which was later identified as Craig Ehrlich from Disney, who actually just got a promotion this past week to a higher position in the company, would normally come to meetings with Sarah Michelle Gellar and other people in the production and brag about how he wasn't a fan of Buffy and had never watched the show before. Like, he kind of presented it like a badge of honor. Like, I've never seen this series, to which we have talked about numerous times on the show about how it is a complicated production world in Hollywood where you often get people that don't know what you would call the product very well, or know the content, or know the storytelling, and they're there to make money, and that is their end goal. And if they think that it's not going to make money, they will say no. They won't even take a risk. And as we know with Disney, is right now they're really risk adverse. They claim, Josh D'Amaro, who's now the CEO officially by Bob, says that he's willing to take risks, but I don't think that they are. We got into a big discussion about how much they're in debt, which I believe is $45 to $48 billion in debt. So they're really canceling things left and right. And this was one of the things that got canceled. Now, my hope is that eventually it will get picked up by someone else, but it seems like Hulu, who owns the rights to this, is not seemingly willing to give it up. So we will see how it goes. That being said, later, after that conversation of Sarah Michelle Gellar kind of blaming executives, Disney kind of released their own inside scoop via Variety that insiders are saying that it was a messy production. The pilot didn't work well. It wasn't written well. Chloe Zhao, who did Marvel's Eternals, which was also kind of divisive amongst people, wasn't handling it right, or it wasn't shot well. She didn't understand shooting for television versus film. And basically that the pilot, which features a character named Nova, who's the new Slayer, who's played by Ryan Kira Armstrong from Skeleton Crew. If you haven't seen Skeleton Crew, go watch it. It's amazing.
That's great. It's
so good. I'm hoping for a season 2. We both are. She plays a character in that show, and she's just so good. She got cast right after that. I'm assuming that was part of the reason she got cast in this. So her character kind of battles in Sunnydale and kills a couple of vampires, and at the end you see a reveal of Sarah Michelle Gellar in New York, and she gets a bunch of insurance claims from Sunnydale, and she realizes that, oh no, there's more stuff happening. Dun dun dun. And that's the reveal. So some people have complained that the reveal isn't enough. Buffy wasn't in the pilot enough. To which my response is, that actually sounds like a normal pilot if you're trying to revive a series with a main character, that at the end you do the big reveal like, surprise, she's actually coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so it's been canceled for now. We don't know when it's coming back. John, what are your thoughts of this whole process? I know you're not the biggest fan as I am.
Yeah.
But are you disappointed that it's not moving forward?
I watched Buffy in its initial run. I don't think I ended up like when I went to college, I like stopped watching. I think I stopped watching after the big, like after Angel died or something like that big dramatic thing where she had to kill Angel or something like that. Remember that?
Oh, where she has to stab him and he leaves to LA eventually when he comes back.
I sort of fell off after that when he disappeared and started Angel and all that. Yeah. But I did enjoy it for the first few years. I really did like the show a lot. I was, 16 when it came out. It was right around the time, all that. WB was like huge. Dawson's Creek. It had all the shows that everybody liked. The Chloe Zhao thing is interesting because 2020 she does Nomadland, wins Best Director at the Oscars. Frances McDormand wins Best Actress. Then she does Eternals, which was one of the first big signs of vulnerability for Marvel, and people were very surprised at how,
which is nuts because it had Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, it was just not received well at all. Didn't make money. So then she didn't direct another movie again until Hamnet. So then she comes back with Hamnet.
Yep.
That gets nominated for Oscars.
And won.
And now she's back up again. So but now this gets canceled and they're saying her vision wasn't good. So here's my conclusion. She is a great director, but when it comes to popular IPs, maybe it's not her forte, because you got Nomadland and Hamnet crushed. Eternals, not so much, and they're saying this was a misfire too. That's just interesting to me. I'm not saying the blame is on her, but she was the director. She has to assume responsibility. I don't like what I heard about the studio executive. We've been hearing that a lot with Star Wars and Disney striking things down, and the executives thinking they know better, because the bottom line is always what's most important. Now Hulu also owned by Disney, so maybe there's some patterns there. I do think this will get picked up again. I do hope if you do a reboot. I'm not a fan of the reboots that make the reason you love the show a cameo. I think that is sneaky. I think that is, you're trying to fool the audience that this is actually still the main deal. I think if you do a reboot, do it like how Scrubs is doing. They're bringing all the cast back. They are the central characters, but they're introducing other characters who are now joining their universe in their life. I think that's the best way to do reboots. People want to see Sarah Michelle Gellar be Buffy. They don't want to see her show up and be Giles or Niles or whatever his name was.
Giles. Yeah.
Giles. And be like the mentor.
Guide.
Yeah. I mean, look how people felt about Luke Skywalker. People wanted him to be the hero in the sequel trilogy, and he was the mentor. And a lot of people didn't like that. I understand all that. And I think it'd be a mistake if she doesn't still become the ultimate hero. So we'll see. I agree with you. I do think eventually somebody picks this up and it gets new life, and maybe for the better. Maybe it's sort of like, one of those situations where a bad thing can lead to an even better thing. Maybe they find something that works better now and they retool it, another studio picks it up, because there's been plenty of things that have been canceled and picked up by other studios and gone on to success. So I don't think this is necessarily dead. Sarah Michelle Gellar seems passionate about it. She, finger on the pulse, she understands the fan base of this. It's rabid. They're passionate. They love Buffy. And I think if they can capture those fans and pull in younger audiences to experience and enjoy Buffy, because this would be the third go around now for Buffy, because you have the Christy Swanson movie, which kicked it all off in 91.
Yep.
That was a different, Luke Perry. That's a different group of kids who found that. Then the series came out 7-8 years later, revived it in a new way, and now they want to reboot the series again. So it's like the next generation. If they can pull young kids in the way they did with the movie, with the original series, and get the teenagers of today, in addition to the millennials who love it, who grew up with it, they could really have something. And I wonder if studios will dial into that, and I think they will.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this isn't like a dead in the water type thing. It's just really depressing to hear, especially I feel like it's been a big year for me with projects that haven't moved forward from, The Hunt for Ben Solo and then this. It's like two big blows to my
Solo
fandom.
for us with
Solo, yeah. But I'm saying this year specifically.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just like two big characters I love, which is Ben Solo and Buffy, two B's apparently. I love the letter B. It's just more than that, it's rough to hear the politics and business side of things, and just that ultimately it comes down to like one or two people saying no. And that's what frustrates me, because it goes back to that Lady Gaga quote, like, all you need is one person to say yes.
Yeah.
And it's totally true. And it's frustrating that you question, like, okay, but why does Craig get to decide if this this show moves forward or not? And in him saying no to this, like, to hear that the way he bragged about not knowing it irks me, because I know, as a marketing professional, if I work with a client or I work on a project, I am fully invested in that project. I know everything there is to know about that topic, about that thing, about that industry. Like, that's my job, is to be an expert on the thing that I'm trying to sell to people. And so
Yeah.
for an executive to be like, "Oh, I don't watch it, and I never watched it, actually. Isn't that crazy?" You're saying that to Sarah Michelle Gellar's face. Like, not a good
And
not a
Sarah
good
Michelle
look.
Gellar is not one to mince words. Like, she will tell you what's on her mind. I remember her being pretty honest about Jennifer Love Hewitt and the whole "I know what you did last summer" stuff. Like, she's polite, but she's not going to be put in a situation where she needs to give a fake answer, I feel like. So she'll always be straightforward with the fans, which is pretty cool.
I'm not even kidding you. There are few people that I've been nervous to ever see in person or say anything to, and she was one of them. I didn't bother her.
Wow.
I didn't say anything to her. I just stood there from 10 feet away and was like, "Oh my God, Sarah Michelle Gellar."
She's
And
tiny,
then
right?
she is tiny. And then I worked with Freddie Prinze at WWE, and we would be talking, and he'd be like, "Oh, hold on, Sarah's on the phone." And he'd like walk away, and I'd be like, "Sarah."
You're like, "Let me get that number."
What's up?
All right.
But yeah,
well, we'll see
no,
what happens.
I hope it happens. I would love to see a new project come out from this. And more importantly, like you said, I do think there is truth to. I would love to see her be Buffy again.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, she could be the mentor and still be Buffy. Like, I don't
Was there-
want a boiled down or a watered down Buffy. I want like the Buffy we know.
And they can't bring back like Spike because the vampires aren't supposed to age. And they can't bring back
Oh,
David
he's dead,
Boreanaz,
dead.
probably.
Dead.
The actor's dead?
No, like the character's dead. Spike
Oh, well,
is dead.
they always bring people back.
You
But what
say
about
that,
like
but,
Charisma Carpenter and like Allison
They could.
Hannigan?
yeah. But then it turns into like a cameo fest. So it's like,
Well, I'm saying if you
there's
want to
a-
do the
there's a
reboot right,
way
you
of-
bring everybody back.
I know, but there's a way of doing it
Mm.
without it feeling like, I don't know. I feel like you're riding the high of Scrubs right now, and I just want to admit how rare that is. That like oftentimes
Well-
it comes across very much as like a greatest hits and less of a like, hey, this actually works.
Bill Lawrence is pretty damn good at making television. So, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it for the news this week, guys. Let's get into what we're watching.
We can never leave the house and would just probably sit around all weekend and watch TV.
Go on.
All right. So it looks like you did a lot of watching of old stuff. So why don't we start
did.
with you?
So I haven't gotten into any new things. I don't think really anything came out very much in the past week of like new things that I know people are watching. I think there's a new documentary out on Netflix about like male podcasts that I was interested in watching. Like everybody's talking about Manosphere or something like that.
Oh, I've heard of that.
That I wanted
Yeah.
to watch. That's on my watch list. But other than that, yeah, I did a lot of rewatches this week. It was just kind of like a slow week, St. Patty's Day, family time. I did watch Wreck-It Ralph for the first time with my daughter and son, but he was kind of like all over the place. He wasn't really watching it, but she was watching it, and you know what I mean? Like just run around the room, like not really
Yeah.
like chiming in once in a while. But Daisy was locked in, and she was a little scared at the bug part. But other than that, she was very interested. She hated Vanellope Sweets in the beginning, but then went on to like her. So she's very much into it. She's still very into the Lorax for some reason. Like she constantly asks to watch the Lorax.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing Dr. Seuss at school. So I think there's a little bleed
Oh,
over
there
there.
you go.
Personally, I did watch my yearly rewatch for St. Patty's Day of Leap Year with Amy Adams. And every year it makes me laugh because she lands in this town called Dingle, Ireland. And I studied abroad there for about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks in college. And it looks nothing like the town she goes in. Like it looks nothing like that. It's very touristy. And she shows up in like the middle of nowhere. And you're like, that's not what that town looks like. And I feel like a little smart for a little bit that I'm like, that's not the real town.
Right.
But I just, every time I watch that movie, I fall in love with Ireland all over again. And if you haven't been in, please go. It's amazing. I'm very Irish, if it's not very obvious. So it's just nice to see, the sweeping landscapes and the music and the people with the accents, and I just love everything about Ireland. And if I could pick up and move there today, I would. But yeah, it's great and it's very funny. And then it bled into Sleepless in Seattle, like it auto played to that where I was watching it because it was on Prime. And I was kind of sitting there and it came on and I was like, you know what, I will watch this. And Meg Ryan is just so wonderful. She's so beautiful on screen in that movie. And like everything about her is lovely. And I miss that. I miss watching rom-coms where someone is just like effortlessly likable. Does that make sense? Like everything she does is cute and adorable.
Yeah, she's a really good actress from what I understand.
Oh, is she not a nice person?
No.
Well, that makes me really sad because she's really likable in this movie.
Yeah.
I also heard that Tom Hanks might not be the best person either, but he's great in this movie too. And it made me cry for the first time. I've never cried watching it, but I cried the other day. I guess I was just in my feelings, and
I've never sat down and watched all of that movie.
It was just on, and it was one of those nights I was like sitting there, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it. I got nothing to do.
What's better, that or You've Got Mail, or Joe versus the Volcano?
I've never seen Joe versus the Volcano, so I can't speak to that. I would say You've Got Mail is better to me.
Okay,
it's wittier, it's funnier, it's more clever.
They're together more. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like Tom Hanks more in You've Got Mail as Joe Fox than I like him as Sam.
Fox.
He's like not really likable as Sam.
I gotta watch that. The
but
kid's
is
cute in that too, right? His son.
Jonah, yeah. It is weird though, because I never really picked up on this until this recent rewatch. She's a reporter in Baltimore, and she does this like creepy private investigative look on him. Then she flies there to meet him, but then just stands there and doesn't talk to him. It comes across very creep, like very weird. Then she goes back home, writes the letter, or her friend Rosie O'Donnell, weird seeing her in there, Rosie O'Donnell again. She sends the letter. He shows up in New York. She shows up in New York. And then they're like, oh, wow, you're that girl. Oh, yeah, wow. And not once he goes, so why were you outside my house? Like that would have been my first question is like, oh my God, it's you. By the way, I know you're very attractive, but why were you standing outside my house?
Right.
All right. Really get approached, and it really bothers me because there's a child involved. Like you don't know who this person is, but she was at your house.
Fair enough.
Don't you think so? Like what?
Yeah.
What would you do? You'd be like, what? What are you doing?
The 90s were a different time, man.
I do feel bad for Bill Pullman in that movie. He's like the typical like, I haven't done anything wrong, but like you're dumping me anyway. Sorry.
Oh my God. Bill Pullman. Someone said the funniest thing online about the Oscars. They were like, it's good to know that the Oscars were possibly the first time that Lewis and Bill Pullman ever met each other.
Oh my God.
Because that was such a weird like patter that they had. But yeah, again, you know,
he was so delightful in Top Gun. Lewis Pullman.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. I watched the World Baseball Classic. The USA lost to Venezuela. They couldn't win it all, but now Judge gets to come back to the Yankees, and the baseball season starts soon. So I'm very excited about that. Let's go Yankees. Scrubs, I am watching every week. I am loving it. Bill Lawrence is the master at this. I don't think anybody else could bring a series back from that long ago and make it feel like they just picked up where they left off after season 8. I don't buy into the season 9 thing they did. It's really good.
Is that with the young people like Franco?
Yeah. So they don't pick that up here, but they're doing it smartly. They are handling their cameos really well. The main cast, the core 4 are the leads still, which is smart. And they're playing into their age and stuff and like the realities of life, but it's also funny. It has the heart. It has the classic Zach Braff soundtrack picks. They're really doing a good job of Scrubs, I have to say. A very, very good job. So if you haven't watched it yet, you've had trepidation because season 8 ended so great, check it out. It's really good.
Nice.
Saving Private Ryan. Speaking of Tom Hanks, I did a rewatch for that for my podcast, Just Like the Movies. Man, my favorite war movie of all time. So that, and it was like even harder as I'm getting older to watch a movie like that. But
Did it win
at the time,
Oscars? It won Oscars, right?
it won Best Director. It lost Best Picture to Shakespeare in Love, which is insane. to me.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And Hanks lost to Roberto Benigni for Life is Beautiful. But it won Best Director. Spielberg, absolutely killed it. He took a zero salary, donated his salary to troops. His dad
Oh, wow, I
inspired
love
him to
that.
make movies via being in World War II. His dad actually had World War II videos of him overseas that inspired him. So
Wow.
in researching that for the podcast, I realized how much it was personal for Spielberg, especially also as a Jewish man. And then last but not least, oh boy, your dude has finally seen Scream 7. Now again,
Oh my gosh.
I watched Scream when I was 14 years old, and it changed my life. It made me want to start making horror movies. It made me want to start making movies. I absolutely loved that movie. It's one of my top 10 favorite
That's
movies
what everyone
of
says.
all time.
Yeah, everyone
I
says this.
love Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Scream 2 was all right. Scream 3, from there, it hasn't been as good. But let me say this. Kevin Williamson, who wrote the first Scream, he wrote a bunch of them. He worked in tandem with Wes Craven, rest in peace. He directed this one, and it just didn't feel like a Scream movie. Some of the scenes feel like they were written by AI. They did word for word reboot scene reboots from the original. That I was like, what am I? Am I watching a scary movie scene? Am I watching a parody?
God.
It was so bad. I talked to our friend Stephen Ellis about it because he's also a huge Scream fan. We talk about Scream all the time. And he had warned me. He's like, dude, this one is the worst. I'm like,
Oh
no.
no.
So I go and I watch it. I'm not going to spoil it unless you want me to spoil it. But the killer reveals, it's just... so there is a scene in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back in 2001 where Jay and Silent Bob sneak onto the Hollywood sets and they watch the filming of a Scream movie, and it's Sharon Doherty playing like the Sydney character, and she takes the mask off the killer, and it's an orangutan. They might as well have done that in Scream 7, and that's all I will say. And the kills are way too gory for a Scream movie. It just, they missed the mark, and the saddest part is it's made more money than any other Scream movie ever, so they're going to make more. So now it's becoming the Fast and Furious of the horror genre.
Oh,
because
no.
it's making money, they're going to keep making them. And how many times can Sidney Prescott face a new killer and still go on with her life? They brought her daughter into this one now. Joel McHale plays her husband. He's pretty good. But overall, and it's always cool seeing Courtney Cox. Like she has a different face every time they make a new movie, and I just love seeing her. I love her. Look, I love Courtney Cox. I have nothing bad to say about her. I think she's amazing. I love her. So I love seeing her. But Scream 7 was really bad. Watch it if you need to. If you remember, I said a lot of bad things about the new I Know What You Did Last Summer and the insane killer reveal choice they made in that movie. This is on the other end of the spectrum where you're like, what the F was that? And that's all I'm going to say. Even Matthew
Did you
Lillard.
say it out loud? Did you say what the F was that out loud?
I you know that clip of the guy on Godfrey who like translated the Lion King thing?
No, but I can imagine you just sitting there going, "Oh no!"
I did this. I put my hand up like, what?
I wish
that
you recorded it.
that person. Tell me the motive. I was talking to Steve. I was like, Steve goes, John, do you think you could explain what the killer's motive was? I go, not even a little.
Oh,
It's just, and McKenna Grace is in that too. She was in that. That's the movie where she's dressed like Claire. What's her name from Clueless? Claire.
Cher.
Sorry. Yeah. So Scream 7, really bad. Watch it, but man, I haven't met a person who has liked it.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so look forward to Scream 8 coming out next year, I'm sure. But Matthew Lillard did come back for this, and it was clever how they incorporated him, and he was good, but couldn't save this one, man.
Woof.
And that's it.
Big
That's
woof.
it. That's what I watched. But yeah, that's the end of the show. So thank you everybody for listening or watching, getting nerdy with us. Like Lacey said, make sure you do subscribe, leave a review. If you like the show, 5-star review would be amazing. And tell your friends, spread the word. If you like what we do here, we also talk Star Wars every Thursday live and on your podcast apps Friday on the Resistance broadcast. And our Patreon, patreon.com/TRB podcast, where you can find exclusive stuff for Nerdy and Nice and the Resistance broadcast, among a lot of other things. So go check it out. Tiers start at just $5 to support it. And this show wouldn't exist without support of Patreon. So thank you all to our existing patrons, including our movie star generals and silver screen spice runners. Our generals on Patreon: Carmelo, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Chris Morales, Mike Rumore, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Colin Cormier, Stephen Garrow, and Darth Snips. The future Mrs. Hayden Christensen, hopefully. Silver Screen Spice Runners: David Probus, Neil Shah, KENDALL, GELNER, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, THEFORTWORTHIAN, and Brian Smith. And for reasons we won't get into, THEFORTWORTHIAN, thank you. Amazing. We look forward to hanging out with you in Texas. What a good guy. And to everybody who supports us, however you support us, whether you love Nerdy and Nice, not into Star Wars, or you love Star Wars, but you support us here because you love us, thank you all so much. We really, really appreciate it. Nerdy and Nice Pod on social media. Those are those plugs. For me, Johnny Hoey on Blue Sky is the best spot. TRB with Lacey every week. Don't forget, we're covering the new Mall show on Tuesdays for our show called I'm Just Mall. And join us there. James Bainey will be back with us for that. And then my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. Like I said, we just did an episode on Saving Private Ryan. That was a deep one. But Lacey, where can people hit you up to chat about all the things we talked about?
People can find me on social media at Lacey Gilleran, on TikTok at It's Lacey Gilleran.
All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone, hopefully the weather starts warming up where you are. It's still winter here, even though it's technically spring. But hopefully spring is around the corner from a temperature standpoint and sunshine standpoint. Yeah, that damn. I'm not even gonna call him. I'm gonna just call him a gopher at this point. But thank you all so much. We'll see you next time right here on Nerdy and Nice. See you around, kids.